Hi everyone, thanks for coming. So as Bronson said, my name's Jen. I'm the resident queen bee at Pixel Palace, and we are a web and digital design studio in Brisbane. I'm also the co-owner of coffeebeansdelivered.com.au, which is a WooCommerce store. And yes, it's true, 15 years ago, I was a one-hit wonder. You probably know the song. I'm not going to tell you what it is now because I don't want anyone Googling it and playing it while I'm up here. It'd be very distracting, but I will reveal at the end what the song is and we'll see if anyone actually remembers it. All right, so today I'm going to cover our journey on designing and building our own WooCommerce site and how we used our experience over 10 years of building client sites to develop our own plan of attack, which was pretty unique to what we'd seen most people do when it came to building e-commerce. I'm also going to share some insights and tips and tricks on e-commerce and managing an online store. Cool. So, I got told to start my presentation with an awesome, funny slide. It kind of broke my brain, that picture. So yes, that's my awesome, funny slide. It's irrelevant, but funny. Okay, so we had been kicking around the idea of an online store of our own for about 12 months before we actually did this. We'd seen heaps of what worked and what didn't from building lots and lots of client e-commerce stores over different platforms, different models, different products, different industries. So we'd seen what worked and what didn't seem to work. We also thought it would be a really cool experiment to get a client perspective on e-commerce so that as developers, we were really experienced in designing, building, planning, training, handing over websites, online stores. But after that, we were just talking from what we'd seen. We didn't actually know. So we thought actually running one of our own would be really cool to get a different perspective on e-commerce. So from our experience, we had certain prerequisites that we wanted for our own store model. The first one was that we were going to do drop shipping. So for those who don't know what drop shipping is, it's where the website takes the orders and markets the product, but the actual dispatching and stock is sent direct from a wholesaler. So we don't manage any stock, we don't hold any stock, we don't have any inventory. So the orders get sent by email to a wholesaler who then sends them out. We do websites. We can market websites, manage websites, but I didn't want to be managing a product and stock and running to the post office or dealing with couriers. We just don't have time. So that wasn't going to be our model. Because of the drop shipping model, then we needed two other things. The first thing was a quality product. So at this point, we didn't care what we sold, which is kind of what's interesting about this project was because a lot of people come at e-commerce and they've got a product or a business, but we were like, no, we just want to find a product that there's a hole in the market for. So it had to be quality. We didn't want to be dealing with unhappy customers, returns. We wanted to be confident that we were promoting something that was awesome and that we felt proud of. And then on top of that, we needed a reliable supplier. So for drop shipping to work, you need to know that the wholesaler's going to send the orders and send them promptly to the right place, not get things wrong, and then communicate well with you around tracking numbers and letting you know that the orders have been sent. So they were our prerequisites. Other than that, we were like, have no idea what we're going to do or sell, but let's go. So the other interesting thing about this project is that we did everything from an SEO standpoint. So picking a product. We kicked around ideas, we'd come up with things and we'd run away and go and search, do some Google AdWords research and find out what the traffic was like around it, cost per click for that type of product, what competitors were doing to see if there was any opportunities in the market. And we went over a few things, but nothing really clicked until one day, over a latte probably, we went, coffee, what about coffee? And in hindsight, it's ridiculous that that wasn't our first idea because if anyone knows our household, we're absolute coffee fiends, ridiculously. My husband had owned several coffee shops in Sydney in the early 2000s when we met. He's a really talented barista, loves coffee, knows a lot about it. We had a commercial two-group machine plumbed into our laundry. Like, it's ridiculous that we didn't think of this first. So coffee, fantastic. We went away and did our research and saw that there was a fair amount of traffic around coffee beans online. great. The cost per click wasn't too bad for AdWords, cool. And the competitor sites were either big coffee brands that had tacked on an ugly looking cart to their existing website with no thought for customer experience, or they were small, tiny, boutique roastery brands that had a great design and were really cool, but no one knew about. They had no exposure. So we went, great, there's an opportunity here. And on top of that, we had a product. We knew a Sydney roaster from my husband's days in Sydney with the coffee shops, who has an awesome product that we were ordering up from Sydney ourselves anyway, and for us and our friends. So we spoke to him, and he was keen to get into retail and was only doing wholesale to cafes around Australia, but wanted retail, didn't have the means, the money, the ability, the time to manage a retail front for the business. So he was happy to sign up. So we had our awesome supplier, we had a product, and we were ready to go. So at this point, we needed a name. And again, we did this from an SEO perspective. So unlike most businesses where you've got a name, you're an existing business and you're going to sell a product and you've already got it all there, we had nothing. We now had a product. So we thought we want to secure a business name and a domain name in particular that said what we do and that had our main key search terms up front and centre in that domain name. So we started hunting around. Obviously, coffee.com.au was taken, coffeebeans.com.au was taken, but Coffee Beans Delivered was free. We thought, fantastic, it's got coffee beans up front. Delivered says what we do, sounds like an okay business name. It can shorten to CBD, so if in the future we want to do products or outlets, we're not limited to Coffee Beans Delivered. We could change the last word and it could become a whole nother thing. So we thought, fantastic. The other advantage of this was that when people linked to our website via our business name, Coffee Beans Delivered, we've got awesome anchor text around SEO for that because our business name says what we do, it's our key terms. And that, in hindsight, really worked well for us. Hang on, I'm just going to have a drink. Cool, so we had a name and we had a domain name now. The other thing that we did really differently, as opposed to what we've seen lots of people do, is that at this point we designed the SEO architecture of the site. So before we'd done any design or anything, we knew what products we were selling and what they were. We mapped out the architecture at this point, came up with key terms for every product, catalogue and page, and wrote all our content refined around those key terms. I'm going to skip to a bit of what we did SEO and SEM-wise here, even though it's a little bit out of order because it makes more sense. So some of the SEO things that we did that really worked on this website and got us some of the best organic SEO results we've seen for a brand new site out of the gate were that key term structure for everything. We named every image file with key terms, so we paid particular attention to that. We were really strict on making sure every JPEG and PNG had key terms in it. We paid attention to obvious things like the alt text around the terms and stuff like that. We included schema markup to make sure that things like review ratings and stuff were pulled into Google results. And we planned a blog to keep fresh content happening on the site and to build our community around that. We also did SEM. So we planned SEM campaigns with AdWords. We did display advertising, so the ads that show up on websites. We did search network results, so the top 2 paid ones, there's not an example there, but the top 2 paid results. We did that upon launch. We did remarketing, so when people came to the site but didn't buy, we advertised to them via display ads. And we also did shopping campaigns. So that is these ones over here where it pulls the products into the search results. Those ones worked particularly well for us. They were awesome. So yeah, because of that attention to the SEO architecture, we got a really good quality score from Google. Like it was always a 9 or a 10 out of 10 for our quality score, which meant our AdWords campaigns were more cost effective and did better. We also had really high click-through rates, like 3 or 4 times the average from those things, which we attributed to the marketing language and the imagery that we used around the product photos, and the wording of the descriptions is really engaging and vibrant and fun and stood out from the competitors. So that was our plan, and that's what we did. And as you can see, pretty much out of the gate, we've consistently ranked for most of our key terms at 1 or 2, sometimes 3, across multiple keywords, but mainly coffee beans and coffee beans online, which was awesome. And bizarrely, we actually do better out of organic results than AdWords. I'd be interested to see if anyone knows why on that one, but for some reason our organics convert better now than any paid ones, so go figure. All right, so this brings me to my favourite part of web, which is design. That's what I actually do. So again, with this project, we were really methodical in our planning, and we thought before we do any design and jump in, we want to pinpoint our target market. So we refined our perfect customer. We made a persona of the person that we were actually targeting. Not that we wanted to alienate other people, so we weren't going to be ridiculous in this, but we had a very clear idea of the person that we wanted to be our customer for Coffee Beans Delivered. And that person was a guy. He's 30 to 50. He's corporate, or he's a graphic designer. He's white collar. He works at a computer a lot. He rides a bike, probably. He likes wine. He knows a lot about wine, but he's not a super wine snob. He's just into it. He likes coffee. He owns a really expensive coffee machine, but he's not super confident either. Like, he knows good coffee. He likes stopping for a coffee with his mates in Lycra on a Sunday morning. He's that guy. He wants to be educated around coffee and wants to learn, but he's, you know, he's not a super, he's not my husband, put it that way. He doesn't ride a bike. Okay, so because of that, we went with this kind of design style, which, dare I say it, is a bit hipster. I know hipster's a bit of a dirty word, but it appeals to that target market, and it's currently on trend and pretty fresh and modern. So that was our plan there. The hipster thing too, I hate saying hipster, but that design style sort of enhances our artisan status. So we wanted to stand out from the big coffee brands who don't really do that, because that's not what we are. We will never stock big brands like Merlot and DeBella. It's all about little artisan roasters, and the plan is to probably become a coffee marketplace where we get multiple brands of nice boutique coffee from around Australia and sell that. So it's artisan, and that design style really enhances that message. So that was part of our plan. We also did flat design for it, which again is pretty on trend and current. And the typography is a mix of Google fonts, again in that same design style. Which brings me to my next point about consistency. So online stores in particular, well, websites, but online stores, consistency across your branding and marketing messages is everything. So the biggest point that I'll probably make today, if you own an online store or have clients that you build for, is photography. Seems like a no-brainer, but people underestimate photography. You know, in an online store, it's the only thing that customers have to decide on as to whether or not to buy your product. And they need to be good and consistent. So having a budget for photography when you're building an e-commerce store is absolutely vital. So we got a client of ours, we paid her to do a styled shoot. She's an amazing food photographer and blogger. And we gave her the brief and gave her the products, and she styled a photo shoot for all our products that we use across the site, which is fantastic and has really helped in those, in particular on those shopping campaigns. You know, the fact that our product images really stood out from competitors that just had a dodgy, deep-etched bag of coffee picture. You know, you get return on investment and photography, and it's important to pay attention to it. The other thing is branding. So having good branding doesn't need to be complex, but it needs to be consistent and nicely done. So all these things add up to consumer confidence. If your website has different fonts, or the pictures all are different, portrait, landscape, different sizes, or tiny pictures, or you know, you've let span tags creep into the product description so the font changes slightly, you know, it might, the normal everyday person often can't pinpoint what it is that makes them slightly start questioning a website. It's that stuff. So it takes effort and legwork to make sure that that stuff remains consistent, but it is so worth it, especially when it comes to e-commerce. So spelling mistakes as another example of destroying consumer confidence, checking everything. So we were really consistent in our marketing across everything, social media, memes, the photography, the typography. We make sure that everything that goes out is consistent. Cool. All right, so the build. It's WordPress, obviously. And Pixel Palace, actually, we custom design and build everything from scratch. We actually don't use themes at all, ever. However, at this point, because this was our internal project, and we'd spent all this time and all this effort planning everything, we had it all ready to go. We even had the design done then. We hit the point of, right, we've got to build this thing. We just wanted it up. We were like, get this thing up. And we wanted proof of concept. So we decided to use the Divi framework, which was great. We got it up quickly. Like I said, it's not what we normally do, so it's been a real affirming project in why we don't do it. And we would never do it for a client, especially now because we're okay because we have the resources to wrangle the code. It's a heavily modified child theme on Divi now, so it's hacked to do the stuff that Coffee Beans Delivered does. And we can manage that, but you would never hand that to a client and expect them to manage that. So that's my disclaimer. It's built into Divi, which sped things up, particularly around, at the time when we built this, the default WooCommerce styles were not flat at all. I really hated them, and it took a bit of work to kind of undo. And Divi out of the box was flat and actually matched a lot of the design that we had pre-designed before we picked Divi as a framework. So it worked. So that's what we did. And yes, we'll probably recode and redo sometime in the future, but at the moment that's where we're at. Cool. So the good thing about WooCommerce, as you probably all know, is the amount of plugins and functionality that you can include. So we've had lots of experience in Woo, and we tend to stick to a few main really good plugins now that we know are good and that the developers are good and that they maintain. So just in general, we included things like we always do, which is Gravity Forms, MailChimp plugin, Backup Buddy for backups, just the usual. So we use Royal Slider for the banners on a lot of our sites, which is a fantastic slider plugin. We included Zopim Live Chat, which is really cool. From an e-commerce perspective, we use PIN payments for credit card payments and PayPal on the site. PIN in particular has been fantastic. We can always get them on the phone. They're Australian. It works really well, so we've been really happy with them for credit card stuff. E-commerce plugins, Sequential Order Numbers is a good one. We install that on all of our WooCommerce sites. So Woo can tend to make a weird order for orders if you create blog posts and pages and stuff in between. So that just keeps your order numbers in order, which is helpful when it comes to accounting. Cart notices. So at the end, when you get to the cart, if you need to spend an extra $7 to get the free shipping, it pops up a notice and says, hey, add another thing, buy something more. We've got tracking number plugins so that we can send the consignment numbers and the courier details to clients in the completed order email. We also use two really great ones which work fantastically for us, which is the follow-up emails and review for discount plugins from Woo Themes. They are awesome. So the follow-up emails, we've got one that goes out 7 days after you order that says, hey, you should have got your beans by now. One, to make sure that they got them, because how do we know? And two, are they good? Do you want some feedback? Here's some info on the beans you bought. Just engaging with them. And then another that goes out at 30 days that says, hey, you're probably running out by now. Are you interested in reordering? Here's, some stuff that we might recommend for you to try based on what you bought. And then review for discount works alongside that and with it. So what that does is in those emails that go out, it says, hey, if you go and leave us a review on that product that you bought, we'll send you a discount code of whatever %. And it's all automated. So when they go and leave their review, it creates a coupon code, sends it to the customer. We've had that works really well for us. It's had really good take up. The other thing that I use is the app, the WooCommerce app on my phone. It's got limitations, it doesn't do everything, but it is good for just getting information on the fly from your WooCommerce store. So I can see orders If I have to, I can mark an order as sent. So because we're pretty fast moving, like it's fresh coffee, it goes from the roaster. In Sydney, it's same day delivery. So if you order in Sydney, it arrives the same day. So really, as soon as the roaster supplier tells me or us that he's sent it and sends a consignment number, we need to mark the order as sent and off we go. So being able to do that on the fly on my phone is awesome. It doesn't have a lot of functionality, and hopefully they'll expand on that in the future, but it's cool for now. Right, so it brings me pretty much to the end, but I'm just going to summarise some of the insights that we've learned over the years about e-commerce and from owning our own. The first one is that user experience is everything in e-commerce, well, in web, but in e-commerce in particular. So you need to pay attention to user experience. So we're constantly refining, getting feedback and refining the website based on what people say confused them or didn't work or they liked. Also, the consistency comes into that. So making sure that everything's consistent across everything is all part of the user experience. And designing and planning for your market, target market. The second point is the customer service. So people shop online because they want the ease and convenience of it, and they just want to be able to not interact with anyone, find what they want quickly and get it sent to them, bang, easy. They don't want to talk to anyone. However, when something goes wrong, they want to talk to someone. So we've found, like, the few times where something's gone wrong, you know, the delivery didn't arrive or whatever, the coffee bag opened and the stuff's, you know, all over the place, picking up the phone and actually ringing them has been amazing. People comment going, I've never had a phone call from an online store. No one's ever called me, they just email. And all those people that we rang reordered. So despite having a bad experience, the phone call, which took nothing, was key in keeping that customer engaged. We also have the live chat as well on the site, which is great, particularly for our style of business, because we can interact with customers in real time, help them make decisions. You'll usually get Ryden, who loves to talk about coffee. So, you know, he will chat you through what you like and what you don't like and recommend things based on that. Photography. Can't say enough how important photography is. So get good photos, have a budget for photos, and be militant in maintaining the quality of the photos on the website. So maintaining the sizes and the styling across all photos is massive, and people don't prioritise that, in my experience, enough. Shipping. Keeping shipping simple is what I've seen from 10 years of doing this. I've seen shipping simple. Simple shipping works. You try to complicate it by charging people every time they add another item to your cart. It's just counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense. You just want people to buy as much as possible in that one visit. It's also easier from a maintenance perspective. Just do your head in trying to account for all the different shipping options. So we do simple, flat rate across Australia and free shipping for orders over $1 kilo, which means that when someone orders in the middle of Western Australia in the desert, we make no money. But we're okay with that because for us, it's about volume. There's no cost to us in the transactions, really. We don't make no money. We just make a lot less profit on those ones. So we figure that it all comes out in the wash, and it seems to, because we can promote flat rate shipping Australia-wide, and we don't have any caveats on that. That's just what it is. So we don't run AdWords campaigns in Western Australia, though. And my last point is e-commerce. People think you can design and build a beautiful e-commerce store, and you've got your dream e-commerce that you've spent all your budget on getting, this thing that you've talked about and dreamed about forever, and once it's up, people will come. And it is so not true, obviously. It takes massive amounts of legwork to keep an e-commerce store competitive and working in a really crowded, noisy market. So the ones that I've seen over the years that work really well are the clients who are constantly ringing me going, hey Jen, I've had this idea, can we do this awesome thing? I go, oh my God, yes we can. Yeah, so trying to do different things, or constantly wanting to get more analytics and being inquisitive and polling customers and finding out what they want, and then going and implementing things to make it better. So as an example on Coffee Beans, consistently, like, the big challenge with our clients is that they're confused as to what to buy. So our coffee guy that we're targeting doesn't know exactly what he wants necessarily. So at every turn, we've been trying to make that easier, make that decision-making process easier. So one of the things that we've done in the last couple of weeks, which you can check out, it's kind of cool, on the website, is to set up a quiz. And it's a fun quiz where you select your machine, you select how you like your coffee, black or white, you select how many coffees a day you have, you select whether you've got a grinder or no grinder, and you select your personality type. Are you adventurous? Do you like what you know? Does money not matter? Because we have some beans on there that are $260 a kilo. So there's all these things, and when you do it, it pops out an answer with a funny shareable like you share on social media of your character, which is all things like characters from Futurama, and it's hilarious. It's really funny. Go and check it out. But you can share that on social media. But then below that we go, but seriously, here's the 3 top coffees that we recommend for you, and it pops out the size that you should order and the beans that we recommend based on what you've said. So that's an example of trying to just constantly think of different things that are cool and interesting that make you stand out from everyone else that's doing the same thing as you. And basically with e-commerce, you can't sit still. You've got to keep going. It's constant legwork. It's constant work. That's it. So that's the website address, and we've got a discount code if you want to order for WordCamp. You get 15% off your order. So WordCamp 2015, and check out the quiz. That's it. Does anyone have questions? Yes? No. He roasts once. That's the beauty of this as well. He roasts a couple times a week, so he just always has stock. Sometimes he'll stop a certain type of bean that doesn't, if he can't get any, say, Nicaraguan organic this month, he'll tell us that one's out of stock, I can't do it. So we just move that to out of stock for the moment and move on to different ones. But yeah, we have no problem with inventory. Yeah?
Does your dropshipper guy,
Yeah.
does he actually interact with the website, or does he just communicate back to you and you guys?
Yeah, it's a good question. He could, except that he's not terribly techie, and it's so small, so he's getting staff, and he will have someone that eventually, we have the capability to let them have a login and update, and that would be ideal, but right now at the moment, no, we do it, we manage it, just because we've only been live for about 6 or 8 months, so it's still a work in process. But the plan is, to be a marketplace and have multiple places that we drop ship from, and then they can all log in and log their tracking numbers.
With the questions, guys, we've got 2 runners with mics, so if you can wait until someone with the mic comes over, that'll help people who want to see the questions. Yeah, stick your hand up, and then one of our folks will get to you. Thanks.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Just pick someone.
Quick question on shipping.
Yes.
Do you charge shipping at a separate amount, or do you build it into the coffee cost?
We build it into the coffee cost. So there is we do a flat rate shipping of $9 Australia-wide if you order under a kilo. And then if you order over a kilo, it's free shipping.
Is that Australia paid?
No, we use Couriers Please. Although if you order from Western Australia as well, it has to go, it would cost us more than the coffee to send to
So who do you use?
Couriers Please we use. Yeah. But within Sydney, the roaster uses a local company that does the same day. Yeah. But Couriers. Yeah.
My question was relating to payment. You're talking about simple shipping being important for your site. I feel like simple payments is also important.
Yep.
Just wondering what you recommend and what your experience with payment gateways is.
Yeah. We have, like I said, PIN payments on the site, which is cool because we don't need to have a merchant account for that. So it's not like the 3 main Pixel Palace. We mainly recommend eWay as a gateway because they seem to have you can always get someone on the phone. However, that is a third-party payment gateway, so you need a merchant account and there's expenses in that. Whereas PIN payments, I guess, works like PayPal and Stripe, where there's no sign-up fee, there's nothing. They just take a percentage and then they just automatically pay it into our bank account. So from our end, that's really simple, and we offer credit card payment and PayPal on the site for customers. So, does that answer that? Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Hello. I was wondering on the usability experience and improving that. So, do you mainly rely on the live form that you have on the website for customer feedback, or is it analytics? And if it is analytics, what parts do you usually look at?
Yeah, that's a good question, and you should probably talk to, I'm going to defer to the actual people who do that in my team. But yeah, it's a bit of both. It's like we did user testing and actually made people use it and ask them. which is the best way. That was the quickest way for us to get feedback. But it is also based on analytics and seeing where people drop off in things. Zopum does really good analytics as well, so you can see in real time when someone's on the site what they're doing, where they've got to, and if they just stop, and then Ryden can pop up and start chatting to them. So that's another advantage of the live chat, is getting real-time user feedback from things. Yeah.
For mobile users, are you looking at an app for making coffee pre-ordering easier?
We had talked about that. That's kind of in the pipeline. At the moment, the site's responsive and it works on mobile, but it's not a separate app. But yeah, we have plans when we find some time amongst all of the client work to, yeah, it would be great to have an actual separate app for ordering with reminders and stuff. It would be awesome. Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, yes, there's someone else. Oh, you got one? Yeah, cool. Hey.
When you talk about you say we.
Yes.
Who's your team? How many does that consist of?
Yeah.
What are their roles?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so Pixel Palace started as just me, and I did.
Just related to this.
Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. So my husband and I own Coffee Beans, and my husband Ryden works full time for Pixel Palace as well as the business manager, and he does a lot of the SEO and SEM stuff. And we have a full-time developer, Pete, who's here too. So he's done all the development and all the techie stuff on the site. So that's really the team. We do also have another developer that helps with a lot of the sort of back-end stuff. But that's really our team. But yeah, my husband and I own this part of the business.
It's like the four of you that work on it.
Pretty much. Yeah. 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 Yep.
Is there a specific plugin just for the dropshipping model?
No, it's just part of Woo. So you can just set up. Actually, no, there is a plugin. Sorry, for notifications. Yeah, there is. Sorry. So it's a separate thing that lets you set up different. So you can say this product belongs to this supplier. So when that gets ordered, you send the notification to that supplier only. So we have set it up to be able to do that, but at the moment we only have the one supplier. But yeah, it can send based on the product. It sends to the different suppliers. Yep.
Howdy, I was just wondering between Divi, all those amazing photos you guys have, and WooCommerce, what's the loading time to the performance of the writing?
Yeah, the Divi that's probably one of the main complaints, is that it's been a bit slow with the Divi. In the recent weeks we've sort of improved this page speed of it. It's not too bad. But yeah, the plan is to definitely get it off Divi. It was just a quick and dirty, honestly, get it. I mean, I think all the developers would sort of know. We'd spend so much time doing the other stuff, we're just like, get this thing up, and if it works, then we'll go back and we'll do it properly. But now it has been 8 months. It's definitely working. It's been amazing, actually, really, really cool. It's really affirming to see how well it worked out of the gate. Obviously, if it made more sales, we'd be even happier, but it's doing, for a brand new e-commerce site with nothing behind it, it's done really, really well out of the gate. Yeah. Yes.
Hey, do you do any A/B testing?
Not really, we probably should have, but we did the user testing, so where we got people to try it and tell us where are you getting stuck, what was confused, but we haven't done any actual, we should definitely.
If you were to do it, what would you start A/B testing? Like checkout process? Or?
I think the homepage, so seeing where people, what path they take. So our big thing has been trying to limit the confusion from people, so not confronting them with too many options. And we've limited products because of that as well, so not just there's so many more products we could offer, but we deliberately limited it because already the feedback was, our guy that we're targeting, he likes coffee, but he doesn't really know, so he's kind of confused. So at every point, we've been trying to just simplify and give information in a nice, easy, digestible way to make that easier. But so probably the homepage and the path, the customer path, would be what we'd focus on. Hi.
I was wondering if you had any insights into solutions for cart abandonment.
I don't particularly. It's a hard one. No, I don't know. Can I refer to my unicorn and cat picture and say, look, there's a picture of a unicorn and a cat? Where's the slide? I don't know. Have a chat to the guys because we're a kind of a team, so it's group of knowledge that comes up with solutions for that sort of stuff, but I don't personally. I don't know. I make things pretty and tell people what to do. Cool. All right. That's pretty much it. Do you want to know what the song was?
Yes, I was going to answer that. You weren't going to get away without me asking.
There you go. It was that. You can Google it now. That's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Let's have a round of applause.
Thank you.